Alright guys, I just will allow a couple more people to come on before we get started. This is like the car interview chronicles. Oh my God. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for joining tonight. As you guys know, I have been on this story about Makayla Byers that died in Meave, Oklahoma, and this story just captivated me. And as I dig deeper and dig deeper and dig deeper, you guys are just phenomenal. The community for Makayla has just opened up and embraced this information, and people are sharing things and information. And one of the people that I came in contact with, her name was Cher. Cher is going to come online, and we're going to have a discussion. And I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, but Cher has a ton of information related to Frank Byers, in reference to their interaction. So I won't hold that, but I'll let you guys know that since I've been digging, as of now to date, there has still not been any suspects named in this particular case. There has not been an arrest made in this case. I guess we're working on close to 3 weeks now, and still we don't even have a suspect. We don't have a drawing. We don't have anything of that nature, and that's troubling. That's very troubling, and I cannot believe that we're this far away, and the Potawatomi County Sheriff Department has not even had an interview, and that's troubling, and not even had a press conference in reference to this. And his family needs answers. And I urge everyone in that county to push. Please push for more transparency. Please push for more transparency. And I'm just waiting for Cher to kind of let me know she's here, and then I'll bring her on. But we need more transparency in this case. As you guys know, you've been following me. I posted just a couple of weeks ago, a couple of days ago, that Frank, the husband of Makayla, his property was, I guess the sheriff department served the warrant, and understanding that allegedly what I'm hearing is that they have contained the property, they have taken his cell phones, and they have taken his vehicles. I don't know anything else, you know, and we found that out through sources. We have not found it out through police. And, you know, this is something that is very upsetting and troubling to a lot of the people in the community, because they just want answers. They want to know. But, you know, as I told you guys the last live a couple of days ago, I felt like Frank Byers has had credibility issues. And if you've been following my post today, I posted one of his credibility issues in reference to that. So that's why I wanted to speak with Cher. I'm just waiting for her to come on, and once she come on, and Cher, if you come, just throw thumbs up, let me know you're here so I can bring you on, so we can go ahead and knock this interview out, because I want you guys to know, and I'm going to definitely go out on a limb that I really feel like the police are, somebody's feeding, and they were denied this, but somebody's feeding Frank. Somebody in that police department is feeding him. And I have no information to say I know that, but just dealing with activism and understanding how police works, and the police has not even requested the OSBI to intervene. Keep in mind, we're dealing with crime scenes, we're dealing with samples, and I'm pretty sure Potawatomi does not have a lab to run these things. It has to go through other labs and outsourced labs. So the way they're moving, and they did not request OSBI help, that's troubling to me. And that's something that I really, that I am for you. I'm really shocked at this situation. So, as I stated in a couple of posts, I wanted people to, please, you may have to pick up the phone. You may have to call the state attorney general's office and ask for him to get involved, to find out more about this situation, because I do believe, I truly, truly, truly believe that there's something going on that's being slow walked. And of course, the police will never, ever, ever admit this, but we're going 3 weeks in this situation, and we haven't even had a press conference. A press conference. So, I mean, that's troubling, and that community needs to know, the family needs to know, all of that. It just needs to know those things. So, let me see. I'm trying to get her to join my live. I'm trying to get her to join my live here. Yeah. So I'm trying to get people to join. Trying to get the police to at least acknowledge, but we've have incredible evidence of credibility that's going on. And today, let's just go ahead into this. Today I posted that Frank, there's a text exchange that Frank acknowledged that he knew that Makayla could not drive. He acknowledged that in that text exchange. So you guys got to go to my Facebook. Okay, Cher is here, and let's see if we can get her to join, and let's see if we can bring her on the camera. Let's see how this works here. We're adding her. All right, guys, hold tight. Cher's joining. It says adding. You know how technology is, guys. I hope everybody's doing good. I'm sorry I couldn't personally say hello to everyone, but I hope you guys are doing very, very well in reference to this case. And if the family members are watching, thank you guys for staying diligent, and hopefully we can bring justice to this case. And I know we have friends that are watching, people in that area that are watching. Hopefully we can bring justice to this case, and we can bring some form of solution. But I wanted to bring on Cher tonight because she has had interactions, what she has shared with me, with Frank. And having her on and giving her testimony is definitely something I really want you guys to get firsthand knowledge on her story, and how they became to be, or they even just met and have their interactions, because there's some information that apparently was shared with her that that is kind of crazy. I'm trying to bring her on, guys. Hold on for a second. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm just really trying to bring her on. I'm not sure. We tried to add her. Let's see. So if you're watching it, Cher, please hit me up to try to add again. Definitely trying to get you to add. Not sure what happened. Sorry for the confusing, guys. But you definitely, this is explosive interview here to add you. I'm texting her on my tablet here. Yeah. So this is where we are. Makayla has been missing from what she's been presumed dead. I just do a recap. She has had, we found that she was shot with 2 bullets to the head. They have found 2 bullets up under Makayla's bed. There was some remnants of blood. We do know there's a search warrant that pulled Frank's boots. His boots had blood on it. We also know that Makayla, at this point, I do not believe that they had an open relationship, simply because of all of the other people who have stated, and they know Makayla, they're saying that's something that's Makayla would not go for, and they felt like it was an insult. And I do believe it's an insult to lie on people like that who cannot defend themselves. Makayla's not here to defend herself. So, and it's unfair for someone to say those things and she cannot defend herself. And her family is doing the justice, trying to bring closure to this situation, they at least need a suspect, because if we go off on his story, um, his story is not uh, adding up. So I'm going to see if I can add her again. Uh, let's see. All right, here we go. Get added. His story is not adding up. So therefore, since his story's not adding up, then we can go from there. All right, look, we got Cher. Cher, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
What's up, Cher? How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Listen, okay, great. Cher, I want to thank you for just joining. Cher has graciously uh, has been brave, guys. I want to make sure you guys understand how big this is. Cher reached out to me in reference to this particular case, and I do believe that it's very brave for her to come forward because a lot of things that she is going to share with us was private conversations between her and Frank, and Cher has been a very brave person to come forth, and I truly appreciate this, Cher. So Cher,
Thank
thanks
you.
for joining tonight. I really do.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. So Cher, tell me. Let's just back up for a minute. Let's just talk about how you met Frank.
Okay. I actually just saw Makayla's picture and I thought she looked so much like my little sister, and it really just kind of spoke to me. So I wanted to help with the search party. I have some experience with open relationships, and it's really not that strange for couples in an open relationship to go on dates with other people. So I really, in the very beginning, I really believed his story, and I thought that it was possible. And so I think the first strange comment I saw was someone said that he wasn't allowing people to search his property, that he had said you had to wait 72 hours or something crazy. And I thought, well, that's really strange. And so my very first message was just, are you going to do a search party? How can I help?
So you
And
messaged Frank. Is
yeah,
that what? I'm sorry to cut you off. So you messaged Frank that.
yes.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
And I think as the conversation went on, he talked about a search party a few days later. Also, my first huge red flag that I was like, a few days doesn't make any sense. Like, if she's close, if she's hurt, like, why would you want to wait a few days? And so I really wanted to do a search party. I've never been involved in one, but I felt like this was really important. And the more I talked to him, I thought it was strange how he wasn't very concerned. Like, there was no urgency about anything. And it just really bothered me. So I just continued to talk to him. At one point, he went quiet, and I guess that was when his lawyer told him to shut up. And I thought he had been arrested. I thought that was it. Like, surely he was arrested. And that was when he messaged me his phone number and asked me to text or call him. And so I sent my phone number. I thought, okay, I'm not doing anything. This was the Saturday after she went missing. And so I just spent all day Saturday talking to him. Just, it was really started out like a counseling thing. I wanted to understand what he was thinking. But I also, the more the questions got into open relationships, I realized that there was no way they had an open relationship. He was really jealous. He didn't talk about her like she had any kind of freedom. And I I don't know, I just thought it was strange. It didn't add up.
So you had a conversation with him that Saturday after Makayla went missing. This was before they actually found the body. Is that correct?
No, this was
Okay.
actually when this would have been, I guess she went missing on a Friday, so it would have been a week and a day after that
Okay.
is
So
when we
after.
really started talking. Yes.
Okay. So you felt like he didn't have remorse or anything of that nature.
Um, I felt like he talked about it kind of like he was inconvenienced by it. He would say like what I'm going through. Everything always came back to him and how he felt about things. It was like he didn't have any sympathy for what had happened to her. I asked him at one point, would you want an open relationship in the future? And he said, if my wife really wanted that, we could talk about it, but that would not be what I would want. And so I got the impression that there was
Wait,
no
so I'm sorry to cut you off right quick. He said to you he was not interested in an open relationship?
in the future, in his future relationships. Yeah.
Well, that sounds
I really was
pretty
trying
strange
to
because,
understand whose idea it was. And he said it was all her idea. And I thought, well, this is really strange. Um, I mean, them living in two different houses, just from understanding the dynamics of open relationships, that's not something that's common. It takes a lot of trust to go outside of your relationship, and it didn't make any sense to me that they lived these separate lives, and also that he wouldn't have known who it was. I said, well, that's why wouldn't she tell you who it was, or why wouldn't that be a conversation?
so Cher, what, so you and Frank got really close, little close personal in your conversation. Is that correct?
Yeah, I tried in the beginning to keep the conversation very much about Makayla, but I was amazed at how fast it went to sexual things. And then I realized that I was just kind of letting him write his own book. Like, why not let him say all this stuff, even if it's inappropriate, even if it doesn't make sense at the time? Um, I went to a psychologist friend and asked if she thought it was normal behavior. Um, and that was when I started like emailing the detectives, trying to get somebody to help me. Like, I thought, why are they not wanting to take this conversation over? Um, and it took me forever to even get anywhere with that.
Wow. So, so let me back up right quick. In one of the conversations that you said in the previous exchange you and I spoke was about the post that I posted today in reference to Frank admitting that Makayla did not drive.
Yeah. Yeah, he talked about that. He said that she had been scared by her mother and her sister when she was young, and that she was always the driver.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So when he said that, what went through your mind? Because you know the story that he said.
Yeah. Immediately I thought, well, that's strange because I'm the same way. I'm always the driver. And I mean, especially if I don't know the person. Like, I just don't get into a car with someone I don't know and let them drive.
So, Cher, again, I thank you for your bravery.
Thank you.
Did Frank share anything about Makayla in reference to her home or anything of that nature?
As in where she was living?
Correct.
We did talk about that a little bit because when I found out she was in carpet and I knew she had lived in that house, I asked if there was carpet in that house. And he said that it was a work in progress, which, I mean, he had sent me pictures. The drywall was unfinished, so I kind of believed that. But we didn't talk about much of it, just that he insists that she was the only person that had a key, which is also very strange. I mean, it's his property. My understanding is he lived there before they were married, or maybe not, but it was his property, and why would he not have a key to the house?
So, Cher, tell me this. You said he sent you pictures of Makayla's house.
Yeah, he did.
So the pictures
Yeah,
that he sent of her house, do you know, were they previous pictures before Makayla was killed, or were they pictures after that?
they were pictures after that. I saved them and checked like the date stamp, and they were sent at the time that he took the pictures. The pictures came up because I was trying to pull away as I was realizing that the detectives were not going to arrest him anytime soon. I was trying to pull away to, like, I don't know, for my own safety. And I had seen that there was blood on her sheets, and they were starting to release more information. And when I asked him about that, he never said anything about blood on her sheets. He said, I can prove that there's no blood on her sheets. And that's why he took the pictures.
So one of the things that's jumping at me is that if the police did not secure Makayla's home. So how was Frank able to go into Makayla's home to send you pictures who you have no relationship with at
Yeah.
all about Makayla?
Yeah. Trust me, that was a concern that if he did something there, that they just left the property there for him to further clean, or what if he remembered something? All of those thoughts came up. I don't know why it was handled this way. Um, the first time I emailed the detective, I never got a response. I started calling when things got really scary. I was told that she was at her son's baseball game and that she would get back to me the following Monday. Um, it was not easy to get this information to someone, and I was mad about it,
Right,
but I really thought that by involving myself this far, that he would have been arrested by now, and he's
right,
not.
right. And ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to Cher. Cher has had a text exchange with Frank. Cher, did you ever physically meet Frank?
No, I asked for the police to help me with that. I was going to meet him because our phone conversations were, he was a lot more loose-lipped. And so I'd asked him, can we record a phone conversation? Can we record some evidence? I mean, he's trusting me. I can talk to him. And they told me that they don't do stuff like that. And basically, I needed to stop talking to him.
Wow, wow. Um, and Frank was discussing, you had mentioned earlier, unfortunately, he was discussing sexual things towards you even after Makayla was found to be deceased.
Yes. And well, that's really where it started,
Okay,
was after they had found her.
okay.
But I would say that the sexual stuff started, I think I think it was Saturday or Sunday, so it would have been a week and a day after she went missing.
Well, when you say sexual stuff, Sherry, if you could, we're adults here. Let us know exactly what type of sexual stuff was that.
Uh, I wanted to understand if something maybe went wrong, so I did ask him about things. We talked about choking, um, things like that. I wanted to understand if maybe she had denied him sex. So I'd asked about like the last time they had had sex. He told me it had been a week and a half or 2 weeks. Which again, I felt was strange because I had fully had the idea that he is some kind of sex addict by that point. And I think he was just a very frustrated man. I think she was not interested in him, and I I think that he killed her for it.
Wow, wow. So Frank wanted to have sex with you. Is that correct?
Yeah, he did. And I don't understand why I never encouraged the conversation. I tried not to act disgusted by the conversation, but it was disgusting. And she was always like in the back of my mind, like how disappointing that he didn't care. So I never encouraged it. He took it where he wanted to. He sent pictures, and
He sent
I just,
pictures of
mhm,
the of what of
of his penis. He sent pictures in his underwear.
okay, and he sent those things to you unsolicited, or did you request those?
Unsolicited,
Gotcha.
completely. In fact, by surprise, I think my last question to him was about Makayla. And then he sent a picture and said, I hope you don't mind I sent that. And I was just thinking, wow, like how would he even be confused about why I'm talking to him? But he was. I mean, I want to say that he has to be someone intelligent to have gotten this far, but he's also very dense because I never had any kind of attraction to him. My interest was about his wife, and he always took the conversation somewhere else.
So, Makayla, you have a post up on Facebook stating that there was a conversation that you had with Frank in reference to Cleveland County versus Potawatomi County. Could you elaborate on that?
Yes. So we were talking, this would have been the Sunday after we started the phone conversations, and this was over the phone. And I was intentionally trying to bait him on the police. I was at this point very upset they weren't responding to anything I said. And I said, it sounds like they don't know what they're doing, sounds like a bunch of idiots. And he laughed and said, you're right. If this would have happened a little bit further over, it would have been Cleveland County, and I would probably be in a lot more trouble.
Wow. So he pretty much knows about Cleveland County. He knows that Cleveland County has like a zero tolerance. But
Yeah.
did you feel that someone at the sheriff's office in Potawatomi County was feeding him information? Did you feel that? Because he seemed to be very confident in reference to that.
He was confident. I don't know if they're feeding him information, but I just figured that they would have had enough evidence to just arrest him. Everybody talks about dotting your I's, crossing your T's, but with all of this, like, can't they arrest him and collect more evidence? They just acted like they were working on it. Um, and I really didn't get an answer. I really don't know if he has an inside. I asked him about that. I asked him if he had any family. Uh, and I know he worked for McLean County Jail previously.
Mm-hmm.
I know you did the post on
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that's
So
correct. Mm-hmm.
I feel like sometimes in small towns, everybody knows somebody. So even if he didn't have a direct link, um, there's something going on there where they're saying that they're working on it, but I don't know why we're not further.
Gotcha. So let's go along. You were going to you got to a point where you felt like Frank was you wanted to cut it off, and
Yes.
Frank wouldn't let you cut it off. Is that correct?
Yeah, he really wanted to keep talking, and I felt like I had found out anything that he was going to tell me. Like at this point, I just knew that everything he was saying was lies. And so I did tell him, I want to take a mental health break because I was hoping that maybe OSBI would pick up the case. I could pick up the conversation, ask them whatever they wanted me to, or they could take it over, something like that. And so I didn't want to cut it off completely. But after I told him that, I started getting calls from blocked numbers, things like that. Told him I was going to change my phone number. And that was when he asked if I would send him my new number, which is crazy. And that's what I mean by him being very dense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think he realized I was changing it to get away from him. Um, but yeah, I don't think he liked that very much. I also don't think he has a lot of friends. I think he has a very small circle. And I think that just being kind to him was something that maybe he had not had in a while. Like, maybe he wasn't expecting it. But I mean, it was easy to be kind to him, even knowing what he may have done. Um, but I wouldn't ever want to be his friend the way he perceives it.
Cher, I'm going to again say thank you for being brave. You possibly could have been talking to a killer or someone who knows about the whereabouts of what happened to Makayla. I just want to say thank you for being brave. Thank you for putting yourself into the line of fire. Um,
Thank
and
you.
and that is something that it's a very scary thing to do, and I don't recommend it. You're incredibly brave. But for you to decide to say, I want to tell my story publicly is amazing. And I am very appreciative of you doing that. I believe that you're probably not the only person that has had an experience like that with Frank or with other people. Um, and what I keep seeing over and over again on videos and text messages is how Frank is, like I said before, he has a credibility issue. And while Makayla was pronounced dead and was killed, he's on dating sites and looking for replacements. Did you ever talk to him about his behavior outside? I mean, his behavior dealing with that. Did you ever kind of like check him a little bit, saying, "Hey, this is not something you should do as a grieving husband"?
Yes, more than once.
Okay.
I said that. Um, I think the first comment he made was missing a feminine touch or something like that. I just got the impression like maybe he wasn't hugged enough or something. I don't really know what it was, but I did call him out a few times. I asked him if he had dating profiles. He told me that he didn't even know the logins to them. Um, I did ask him, but I think he just always brushed it off as, well, she's not coming back. But I couldn't. He even said in one comment something about things are getting back to normal. And I thought, what in what world is
He
any of
said
this
that.
normal?
He
Yeah,
literally had said she's not coming back.
yeah. He had said that she wasn't coming back and that he had to move on with his life. He mentioned there's one text I have that's really long that talks about how him and Makayla had talked about if anything had ever happened to either one of them, how they should move on. And I was like, yeah, but not 3 days later.
Right.
I didn't understand why it was so quick. It kind of made me think that he knew he was going to jail and maybe he was just trying to get something out of his system.
Do you have information on the forensic interview that happened to the kids?
Mm, a little bit.
Do you mind sharing it?
Yes, I don't want to do anything to hinder this investigation,
Correct.
but I do know that the kid said that on the day that he was supposedly out looking, that they were house shopping,
You
which,
said they were house shopping,
yes,
and this
which
is the day Makayla went missing.
yes, yes, that morning that he claims that he went to her mom's restaurant, from what I hear, he had the kids and was out looking at houses, which I thought was strange because he and I had a conversation about how he went to try to cash in on her life insurance policy and learned that she didn't have
Wait
one.
a minute. Can you back that up for a second?
Okay.
Um, I'm just gonna say, damn.
Yeah.
Um, um, he tried to cash in her life insurance policy.
Yes. And this was through his job. And this would have been, um, I believe it was the same day he had to do funeral arrangements. Because
Okay.
I tried to talk about the GoFundMe. I wanted to try to see if he thought there would be any kind of financial gain.
Mm-hmm.
And asked where the GoFundMe was going to go. Was it going to go to her funeral expenses? And he said that he thought so, but he said that he had went to his job or called his job about a life insurance policy that he thought he had on her, but he actually only had it on himself and his kids, and that he was upset that he didn't have one.
Yeah. Did you see any rage in him over your messages or even the phone calls? Were there some type of quick to rage, or it was just how was his temperament?
His demeanor was always really calm. He talked about being an MMA fighter when he was younger, and he also talked at one point about having some PTSD. He said that he kicked and punched in his sleep sometimes, um, but really nothing. I asked about that too. I asked if he ever hit her. I tried to ask him if she ever hit him. Um, I asked if they were fighting or if the fights had ever became physical, and he said no. Um, he always said nice things about her, said that she was a great mom, that she was a sweet person. So he never really gave any kind of insight to that.
Did he say why Makayla um, left the house, or did she leave the house, or when they got married? Did he ever give you any background information on how Makayla ended up at her home?
No, no, those were pieces I saw in other places about him cheating on her. I had heard that she had cheated or that he had cheated on her and that she was going to leave him. and he begged her to come back for the kids, saying that he needed help with his girls, and that basically she agreed to come back, but she was going to live in that back house away from him and would maybe do what she wanted. I really don't think that she was staying with him or had any intentions of staying with him. And he was just so delusional about it that he couldn't admit that. I think he was trying really hard to win her back in some way, but I I just think he was frustrated.
Gotcha. I got you. Wow, this story gets stranger and stranger as I dig and dig and dig. Have you had conversations with the Potawatomi detention? I'm sorry, the prosecution
Yes.
office. You have?
Yes. I spoke
Okay.
to the detectives, yes.
So you spoke to the detective, but not the DA. Is that correct?
No, not the DA. No.
Okay, gotcha. Um, wh- what do you want for this case to happen? What is your desire from the information that you know about Frank Byers and even up to now? What would you want?
I want the truth. Like, I want whoever did it, to pay for it. But I also want the whole truth. I've questioned through this whole thing if he acted alone. Um, Makayla was a bigger girl. I'm a bigger girl. I know who can lift me up and who can't. Frank's about 5'7". I just don't think that he easily moved Makayla. And I think he had help. I have a couple of people in mind that might have helped him. Um, but I want everyone that helped him to pay for it.
Well, well, thank you so much for your bravery. It's just it's commendable that you are putting yourself into the line of fire, and I know that this is scary for you. Have you heard from Frank since you have gone public?
No, I did get a call from a blocked number last night. Um, that was the last time, but I really haven't. The last message I sent him, he was talking about being in fear for his own safety, and I was really questioning why he still had the girls with him. I didn't want him to realize that things were closing in and maybe get desperate and hurt them. So I asked him, please promise me you'll take them back to their mom. Um, and he never messaged me after that. I think that was the day that they took his phones.
Okay. And to date, he has not made any public statements to me, and he has not made anything public on Facebook since the day we understood that he took his phone.
Yes.
I have not heard anything from Frank at all, or even from his attorney. So whatever that's occurring, Frank was so quick to talk, but we are not getting any information now
Yeah.
at all. Um, did he? Gosh, I hate to ask this question, but we're live. Did he talk about his ex-wife?
Um, the one that he has girls with. Yes. Yes, we
Yes,
talked about her quite a bit.
that's correct. Okay. What did she say about her? What did he say about her?
Um, he said that, well, we mainly talked about her because he had full custody.
Okay.
I mean, I've been through a custody hearing in Oklahoma. It's very unusual for a father to have full custody, so I knew that something had happened. And
Okay.
so I asked him what happened, and he said that she tried to put one of their children in an oven that was turned on and burnt her.
Wow.
And that's how he ended up with custody. And that honestly made me feel worse that he might be the better parent. I don't know. But just that these girls have gone through now losing Makayla, and obviously something's happened with their mom, and their dad might be a murderer.
Wow. Kids, man. Did
Yeah.
he talk to you about any support he had with family or anything of like nature?
I know that he's pretty close to his mom and his brother,
Mhm.
um, but not really.
Mhm.
No.
Okay. So you feel like if you would have allowed this to continue, um, you and Frank would have probably wanted to meet you publicly. Is that correct? Or personally?
He tried to meet me several times. He tried to come to my house. He talked about coming in my bedroom window.
Okay,
You
hold
know,
up.
I told
Hold
him,
up. Cher. We got to talk about it.
okay.
He talked about coming in your bedroom window. Why the window? What's wrong with the door?
I told him I have kids, and I was kind of entertaining his idea that we were somehow attracted to each other, and he wanted to meet. He asked if I would meet him at a hotel, which I found completely crazy because I know that on that day, lots of people were talking about looking for him, finding him, taking care of him, and here he was ready to go to a hotel. So I thought that was very strange. And then I told him my son was sick at one point, that I had to be home for him. And he said, well, I can just come by. And I said, no, I don't have been around my kids. That's crazy.
Good for you.
And he said, I could come through the window. And I was just like, God, like what murderer thinks that someone's going to just let him come through their window?
Wow.
But he was very persistent. When he realized I wasn't meeting him at a hotel, I wasn't letting him come here, he started asking if I would meet him at a restaurant or breakfast. But no, I would have never met him.
And this is supposed to be a grieving husband.
Yeah. He never cried. It made me so mad when I saw him on the news crying because
Mm,
we had lots of moments where we were talking about Makayla where I feel like, why isn't he crying or why doesn't he show any emotion? He would laugh and say, it feels good to laugh. And I was like, she's been dead like 2 days. What do you mean it feels good to laugh? Like, he just seemed very emotionless a lot of the time. Um, like he's almost not human.
mm. Almost detached. Is that correct?
Yeah, detached. Like something disconnected as a child or something where he doesn't love like normal people, maybe. He
Okay.
talked about her like a possession when her family had her body moved to the funeral home he wanted. He was very upset about that and said, she's mine and I should move her somewhere else. That was a rough day for me because I really wanted to cuss him out and be done. Um, I just thought it was so cold. Like her family's going through all this, and he was just mad that they had some kind of control.
Do you feel like Frank just wanted to have sex with you and that's what it was? Or do you actually think he wanted a relationship?
Oh, he would have had a relationship. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Got you. Um, did for those who don't live in that area, did Frank describe his property? Because that's been one of the prevailing questions that people have been asking me in reference to the two houses. Are we talking about, and the police said there were two tiny houses. Are we talking about a large house and then a small house? How many bedrooms did Makayla have versus how many bedrooms did Frank have if he had four children?
I would love to know. I tried to look it up on maps.
Okay.
I tried
So
to look.
he didn't discuss that with
No,
you. Okay.
he didn't discuss it with me, and he also didn't really. He didn't have anything on Zillow. Um, so I don't really know. I think that her house was like a small, one bedroom house, maybe with a bathroom. I don't
Mhm.
think it was a full house. And some people
Gotcha.
had described it as a shed, like something as small as a shed.
So when Frank said that he was in her house and he met the guy, he you're you're thinking the way he describes it, that could also be her bedroom as well too?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So there would have been no deviation from a living room to a bedroom or anything like that.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Okay. So when Frank was sending you pictures of the room, he was trying to show you that there's no blood on the sheets. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Did you find it strange that he had access to this area and because remember you said before that the police said that Makayla was the only person who had the key. So how did he
He,
get a key?
he says he broke the lock on the very first day that he reported her missing. He said that they asked to look in there, and so he broke her lock to get in.
So he's stating that when Makayla went disappearing and went missing, she locked the house.
Yes. My understanding is supposedly the truck was quite a ways from his house and that he watched Makayla get in the truck and drive off, and that's why he couldn't see the man very well. I don't think the man ever, I don't think anyone ever said that a man came in the house or anything like that. I think he just supposedly had pulled up and picked her up.
Gotcha. This is wow. Cher, thank you so much. I mean, you've brought some answers to questions that we have had, and then we also have more questions too. I don't want people to think that you were in any kind of way trying to pursue anything with Frank because you knew the circumstances, correct? You
Yes.
you knew that he was grieving and you were just trying to be a friend to him. Is that correct?
I wouldn't even say I was trying to be a friend. Maybe initially I was just trying to get a search party going, but the only reason I continued to talk to him was because nothing ever made sense. Nothing ever got clearer. Um, it just got worse. Like everything that he said got worse.
I got you. But Cher, kudos to you. Please stay safe. I'm going to let you go because I know you said you had a prior engagement. Thank you so much. Please stay safe. If you hear anything, please let me know. Let us know. And thank you for doing the work and going to the proper authorities. Thank you so much for
Thank
doing
you.
that. I really
Thank you.
appreciate that. And one more question before you go. We couldn't get the carpet thing.
Mhm.
Where was the carpet? We still can't get the carpet thing.
I really don't know. I really don't think it was from her room, though. He did
Okay.
tell me that they were renovating out there, but the floor did not look like it had been freshly cleaned. Um, Honestly, I don't know that she was killed in that room.
Okay.
In my mind, I think that it happened somewhere else, maybe. He did talk about them going on walks, and even late at night, we had that conversation verbally, and he said that they both carried guns, so it wasn't scary. So I wonder if maybe he convinced her to go on a walk with him. Um, I don't really know what happened.
Gotcha. Okay, Cher, I'm going to let you go and thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just do a recap right quick before you go, Cher. Cher is the person who Frank was doing text message exchange. Frank has been talking to her over the text message and also even having sexually explicit conversations with her. And he disclosed some information in reference to Makayla didn't drive and all those different things. So, Cher, again, thank you so much for being brave. I really appreciate this. Okay.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to let you go. All right.
Okay.
Take care. Bye
Bye.
now. All right. Okay. I got you. Okay. Adriean Nicole, do you want to come on, Adrien? Because I do want to talk to you. This is a great time to talk to you to add some context about Makayla. Adrien, if you want to come on, please let me know. I can go ahead and bring you on. This is definitely a time that we can talk about Makayla, and I love for you to come on and just kind of bring some context. So, Adrien, just let me know. Give me thumbs up, something. Let me know if you really want to come on, and we can make that happen. But, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for joining so much for watching. Wow, that was scathing testimony from Cher. Um, it's very brave for her to come forward. It takes a lot of courage, and it really does. And I really appreciate her coming on. I really appreciate her just being honest and upfront. There was some information that we were not aware of in reference to things that he had shared about Makayla. We did not know at all. And just having those discussions in reference to that. So, Adrien, if you would like to come on, I'm going to go ahead and try to join you right now. Let's see if I can join you, Adrien. Let's see here. You guys bear with me. Adrien. All right, Adrien, I just sent you the invite so that Adrien can join. And wow, I am blown, guys. I told you guys that Frank had a credibility issue, and I there's something that we're seeing happening more and more and more. Adrien, I sent you the invite, so you can just go ahead and add, and we can have you join, Adrien, as soon as possible. So, and I won't take you long, Adrien. I want you to be able to have your voice in your platform, because I believe that you deserve to have a voice, especially in this conversation and in this context. If you go ahead and join. You said, I'm sorry, I just joined. Adrien, I'm adding you now. Do you see it? Let me try to add you again. I just added you again. Let's see if you can join. Guys, I know we had a lot of questions. I know you guys have a lot of questions in reference to that. Debbie, you said, was Frank buddies with cops there? I don't know. I have said that, Adrien, you just said all you have to do is just click join. I'm adding you. Just click join. I think you have to maybe make an option that I can bring you on camera. But I, I don't know if I do know, based on Frank was a detention officer in McLean County Sheriff Department. I don't think that he was a law enforcement officer. I think he wanted to be a police, but I don't believe that he was a law enforcement officer. I know he was a detention officer, and we know that because of a lawsuit that I had posted earlier this week, that he allegedly was a deputy in the death of an inmate that died. So that's what occurred in reference to that. Okay. All right, Adrien, I'm trying to get you to come on. Trying to do an ad here. Let's try it again, Adrien. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm adding you again, Adrien. Adrien is the daughter of Makayla, ladies and gentlemen. So that's why I really want her to come on, because I want her to be able to have her say in this conversation. This is really important, and to have Makayla's family to speak in reference to Makayla, because again, I'm coming from a position of activism, and I really don't know her, and we're just doing the job here to try to inform you guys. But I really, really, really trying to get Adrien to come on. And thank you guys for joining. Please do me a favor, share this video. You said you are requesting to join. Let's see, let's add, let's see here. Okay, accept. Let's see, accept. I'm trying to accept you. You know what, Adrien? Let's see. I'm trying to accept you, Adrien. Let's see. Adrien, hold on for a second. Let me see, Adrien. I'm sorry, guys. Bear with me for 1 second. Let me see. Why can I not accept Adrien? Okay. Maybe because I have to add you as a friend. All right, Adrien, I just sent you an invite, a request to add you as a friend. Just see if you can add me as a friend, and then I can probably accept you on the Facebook Live. So go ahead and answer my friend's request, and then you can, and I can bring you on. Guys, bear with us for a second. This is definitely a work in progress. Okay, Adrien has accepted it. Let me see. All right, we're going to add Adrien. Adrien should be coming on now, soon. Adrien,
Hello.
there you go. There you go. Thank you so much, Adrien, for joining.
Um, you're welcome, I guess. I'm sorry, I don't really know what to say.
Well, you know, the thing is, Adrien, just the fact that you have energy to be able to be a voice for your mom is powerful enough, because Makayla cannot speak for herself, and she's speaking through you guys. So Adriean, tell us about Makayla, please.
She was the person that me and Brian needed in the exact moment in our life. She came in, she was everything that we needed. She showed up to every court date. She fought the battles that we couldn't fight as children. She she was just an amazing person to be around in general. And don't get me wrong, she was hard-headed. She had her moments, and as humans we all do. We all mess up and we all make mistakes, and she was always trying to better herself for us. It was never about her. It wasn't about anything. She was, even for his kids, she always wanted to better herself for all of us.
Wow. I've heard great stories about Makayla. I've heard how she has such a giving heart. Now, if you don't mind, give us a little background information for those who don't know the story in reference to, were you guys adopted? Because I understand you guys were in foster care. Is that correct?
Yes, we were. And I was adopted actually in 2019, and my brother was adopted in 2021.
So Makayla adopted you guys.
Yes, both of us.
Wow. How was that moment for her to adopt you guys? I mean, to have that moment.
I actually had gotten back from a cruise for my friend, and she gave me a basket with a note in it, and I'm pretty sure it's still at the house. Not that I can really access it at the moment, but made a whole little note and made me a basket that I was finally, like, the court dates were over and the fight was over, and that was it.
But
And
she's your mom.
she's my mom.
She's your mom.
She is.
She,
She
yeah,
was she was everything.
yeah, yeah. And can you, if you don't mind, can you take me back to the day that you heard that she went missing?
I was actually in Texas. Um, there's a rodeo down in Texas, and we happened to be there because it was just us meeting up with family, whatever. And he called me that morning ecstatic about 7:50, and he hadn't heard from her or anything. And
And he being Frank,
yes,
is that
he
correct?
being
Okay.
Frank, yes. And that she just turned off her phone and never called or texted him back. And it wasn't unlike her for her to go to sleep turning her phone off because she was annoyed at the world or whatever, and wake up that morning and turn it back on. So I stayed in Texas and I wasn't worried. And whenever the cops came out, everyone kind of got worried, and I decided to come home, and then we were filing police reports and missing person reports at that point.
Were you filing it, or was Frank filing those?
Well, Frank initially. Well, I say Frank. He quote unquote forced that he demanded someone to come out there. No, her dad called a welfare check to make sure that everything was working. Everything was going, like, it became weird. It just became a weird
So wait
situation.
a minute. Your grandpa called for a welfare check on Makayla that day?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, because he wanted someone to go out there and just check and make sure that he wasn't, putting on a whole front.
Hmm.
And so, I'm sorry, hold on one second.
Hmm.
If her kid wasn't worried, why was Frank freaking out? Sorry. I'm just gonna go back to what I was saying.
Okay, gotcha. So we were
Uh,
talking about your granddad doing a welfare check on her.
My pops. He
Mm.
was doing the welfare check, and cops. He's the reason why cops got involved. And then, whenever it got to the point they said that there was some suspicious activity, then I came home, and it just went on from there.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
Frank saying he demanded someone to come out was not. He didn't. I don't know what was said, but I definitely do not think it was Frank's call that initially got them worried enough to. Does that make sense?
Right. It does. Um, how the day that your cousin, Makayla's cousin, found her,
Yeah.
what went through your head as her daughter?
It was just shocking. Knowing Makayla, like if you knew Makayla, this is not ever something that would cross your mind, and it's a whole sucky situation
Right.
for
It truly
everyone.
is. Yeah. So when you see Frank on television and you hear the stories of what he's saying, and
I can't watch it,
okay,
honestly. I no, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't mean to
no,
cut you
it's
off
okay.
like that. It's just
It's okay.
because make it make sense. Um, you can't get me to believe anything you're saying, and I don't know how you're getting your family to, but whatever.
So tell me this, Adrian, and I'm not trying to pry on their relationship, but I have to ask these questions because there's so many holes in Frank's story. Um, do you know if they had an open relationship or not?
If they had a open relationship the first time, whenever they initially separated, that Frank was caught um, involved with another woman, she would have invited that woman over. It wouldn't have been she wouldn't have tried to separate. There was no way they were in an open relationship.
Gotcha. Um, was I did hear your brother say on television there was divorce conversations.
Yeah, there was. She told me that we were waiting on, or she was, sorry, not, I say we. I'm so sorry. She was waiting on money for taxes, and that they were just going to live together. She loved those girls, and she was those girls' mom um for years. I mean, she stayed for those girls for sure.
I know. Adrian, can you tell us if you knew, because we still don't know how Makayla got to the house to live by herself.
I'm
Can
so
you
sorry.
can you can you clear that up for us? Because we have a lot of questions in reference to how did Makayla get to the point to live in this small home versus Frank living into another home.
Well, those were his girls. She wasn't, she at that point she knows her boundaries. Yes, she was still taking care of them, but she took her space, and that barn is actually, it was my barn.
So did
Oh,
Makayla and Frank ever live under the same roof?
yes. Well, we all lived under the same roof at one point, and then we moved out to the Hamilton house, and then that house caught on fire. And so then they decided they were going to do the mini home situation. They bought another building. So I previously was living in the mini home. Like I had my own little building, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
So I could have my privacy.
So what caused Makayla to move from
It was
the big home?
just right
Okay,
behind.
is this right? So what caused her to say this is my place versus I'm going to be with my husband? Do you know?
She I would imagine she just got fed up. I mean, it uh he could be a lot sometimes.
Gotcha. I got you. Adrian, I really appreciate your boldness, and you guys are going through a lot. How are your grandparents doing? How's Makayla's parents doing?
Actually, at this time it's really hard. We are not getting any information. Actually, not even gonna lie, a lot of our information is actually being given to us from you
Mm,
and like the news media, and yeah, that is hard. And
gotcha.
not like I I from a foster care standpoint, as being a child, Makayla would get those calls. I get the fact that I understand her parents getting the call, but it's not her parents. Pops is not getting the call. Pops is hearing from y'all and third-party sources. So that it's enraging, and it's hard to grieve when we are so mad about the fact that we don't even know what the hell's going on half the time.
So there's been no communication with the detective or even the sheriff. Has he said anything to your parents, the
The
grandparents?
detectives and the sheriffs have said more to the news than they've said to me.
Well, I got you. I got you. Wow.
I've
Well,
had one phone call. They asked about some stuff. I gave them the answers, and I was able to ask a few questions, but with an ongoing investigation, there's not really answers to be given because they're trying to get ahead, and I don't blame them. I mean, it's not the same case whatsoever going in foster care, but it is kind of the same stipulations. Like, they can tell you some, but they can't tell you everything. And so I already knew that going into the phone call.
so
And so
so I'm taking it. You kind of feel injustice to the way the police are kind of handling this, comparable to how you were raised in the foster care system, almost not knowing things. Is that correct?
to a sense, for right now, like it always comes to light. Like, everything it will be brought up. Like, we will find out who did this. I mean, maybe not in the timely manner, not whenever we want it to be, but the evidence is there. The evidence is there.
I got you. I got you. Wow, you guys are so brave. Adrian, my heart goes out to you and to your family, to your pops, to your mom, Miss Marva. My heart goes out to you guys, and we're going to do everything in our power. And this is why, I'm urging people to, if you've had interactions, if you have information, please call the authorities, let them know, because this is very important, because we do need justice to be served. We need this to happen. It needs to be investigated properly. And we want to make sure that all parties who participated in the killing of Makayla be brought to justice. So, Adrian, is there anything you would like people to know about?
I want people to know that regardless of everything that has happened and everything that has come to happen, Makayla was such a loving person. She would want everybody to she would, it's a crappy circumstance. And she wants you to take this as a no. She wants you to keep this in head. And I hate for this to be the example, but she would use it as one. I mean, previously in the past, she has used herself as an example for me. And it hurts. It hurts so bad that this has to be the example and that this is what has happened. But regardless, it was love. It was love. It was spread love, because you never know what's going on in someone's life.
Now, earlier before you came on, Adrian, we had Cher, and Cher had conversations with Frank, and Frank admitted that Makayla did not like to ride with people.
Oh yeah.
Has that been your experience when growing up that when you heard
I
her getting in the
went
car with, go ahead.
I went to a almost $400 driving school because she was so nervous to let me drive her car. She just didn't want to. And if the one time I was able to drive, she wanted to grab that wheel the entire time. It was, yeah, no, she did grab that wheel. But no, being in the passenger seat was definitely not her forte, and especially not with a stranger.
Right. So when you hear Frank make the statements that she went out on a date with a stranger, do we call bullshit on that?
I call bullshit.
Okay.
I call bluff. I and also knowing Frank, I don't believe him to be a man to, just let his woman drive away with another man. I believe that he would chase after her, and I'm not in any reports I've read, I don't think that he got any details. And that's being in a missing person investigation calling that I feel like that's something that you would try to remember.
Yeah. Adrian, I'm not going to hold you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Please send our love to your family, your brother, and everyone that is out there in the community that's searching for justice. We're going to do everything in our power to just keep this case alive until someone is brought to justice. And if you hear anything, please let us know. And thank you for joining. Okay.
Well, I'm not even gonna lie. Honestly, if you hear anything, please let us know
No,
because it's
I will.
terrible at this point.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but But just if anybody listening to this, justice will be served, and Makayla's name will not be forgotten, and her love will be spread and forever remembered.
Awesome. Adrian, thank you so much. And I'm going to let you go. Okay. Take care of yourself.
Thank you.
Right? No problem. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you guys have been so patient. Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Cher, for coming on. Thank you, Adrian, for coming on. This has been a very powerful live video. It's very organic. I'm in my car, but I just almost have to process all this, that all the information that we have, the emotions, the feelings, the facts, the confirmations and stuff of that nature, it's just been a very trying interview, emotional. And I want you guys to know I do this because of passion. I don't get any lecks of paid or anything like this. I'm doing this because I want justice served. Um, I also understand there was another killing in Pottawatomie County prior to Makayla that justice has not been served and he hasn't even gotten arrested. The person hasn't even been arrested. So it seems as if there's an ongoing issue with that particular county sheriff department of their lack of investigations. I've said all along, I do not understand why OSBI has not been called in. Um, and I hope that people in the community will call the AG's office, the state AG's office, and demand for more accountability in this particular area because they can oversee these things that's happening. But if I hear stuff, I will let you guys know. You guys are just amazing. If you guys hear stuff, please let me know or just post it or tag me into the post and we can continue going on because we're going to find justice for Makayla and everyone who has something to do with that. Um, so, yeah. Chantel, you said 2 years found in a battery tank ruled as a suicide is heartbreaking. Yeah, I have to look deep into this case, y'all. God bless. Take care of yourself. And thank you guys for watching. Share this video. Peace.